Let's now shift focus to Varun Beverages. It's been a stellar show that they've seen in the first quarter calendar year 18. The focus in rural, semi-urban areas, the new products and product categories is all that we'd like to understand from Ravi Kant Jaipuria, the chairman at Varun Beverages, joins us on the show right now. Mr. Jaipuria, morning. Your stellar top-line growth trajectory continues. Tell us what has been the volume growth contribution and how the pricing and blended realizations have grown.
Good morning. How is everybody? We've had a good start in the first quarter, and our volumes have grown at about 20%, whereas our revenues have grown at close to 25% for the quarter. So it's been a pretty good start for the year for the company, as our year end is December 31st. So this is the first quarter. Although this quarter is not a large quarter for us, but still, as a beginning, it's pretty good, and second quarter is also looking quite good for the company.
Good morning and thanks so much for being with us on the show. Now, you've made quite a bit of state acquisitions between Q1 CY17 and now. If we have to cull that out and look at your organic growth, how has that been?
Well, our organic growth has been globally about close to 10%, whereas the India growth has been about 12%. So even our organic growth has been pretty good for the first quarter, and it's looking pretty decent going forward also.
Okay. PepsiCo, Mr. Jaipuria, has its eyes on rural as well as semi-urban areas, and it wants to leverage on their partnership with you for the same. What are the percentage of your sales from those areas, and what was the rural growth that you saw in the first quarter?
Well, our rural is about 30%, whereas semi-urban and urban is about 70% of the volumes. But we are definitely seeing a much faster growth in the rural market than urban and semi-urban. So our rural is growing much faster pace, although it's on a smaller base of 30%, but still I think it's catching up and it's doing a great job for us.
Given the case for rural growth to be strong because of the upcoming state elections, good monsoon, how is it that you see the rural growth panning out going forward? And how would you like to allay concerns in relation to Pepsi's market share as well? Would like to understand what your current market share is now and where do you see the visibility, say, 4 to 5 years from now?
Well, we are very close to about 40% market share in our territories, and as we are getting weaker territories, we are accumulating them and slowly getting them back to our levels, which are about 40%, and that's what we are hoping, that the new territories which we have acquired in the east, we have to try and bring them to this level, because at the moment they are quite low.
Okay, so clearly rural is going to be your go-to, and that's where you see quite a bit of potential. Now, what about the fruit-based fizzy drinks? They're seeing a lot of new launches. We're seeing a lot of competition building up over here. You're launching a fizzy version of Slice as well. What kind of response are you expecting from that?
We have actually just launched about 6 or 7 variants in Slice, which are fizzy drinks. And we are testing it in a couple of markets, and the response has been pretty good. And I think we are just seeing how the whole reaction is, and once we have it clearly bashed out that which are the products which are going to do well for us, then next year I think we'll bring it in the whole main scheme. Right now we have only launched it in the Delhi and the UP area.
Mr. Jaipuria has started on a strong note. How is it that you see the rest of the year panning out? And will you say that you'll be able to better your sales and margin performance from here onwards?
Well, I think this quarter, which is our main quarter, last year was pretty disturbed because May was, the weather was not good. And June, we've had, because of GST, lot of destocking. So I think this quarter again is looking pretty positive, and there's no reason why we should not look at double-digit growths. So this is about 45% of our turnover this quarter. So and most of our profits come from this quarter. So this year is looking pretty good for us, and there's no reason what we have done in the first quarter that it should not continue and going forward. And also, we've started a new country in Zimbabwe about 2 months back, which is doing phenomenally well for us. And in Nepal, we have started a new plant, which have just started about 1 week back, and that will add to our portfolio for this quarter. So I think overall, with these two further territories adding to the quarter, I think it should be a very good quarter.
So what do you think, Mr. Jaipuria, is going to lead to this kind of double-digit growth? What are the factors that are going to contribute to this?
I think, we have launched a lot of new products that is going to help. At the same time, we are strengthening our distribution. We've launched an energy drink by the name of Sting. We launched a sugar-free drink by Black Pepsi. And now we've launched these flavors, new flavors, which is about 6-7 variants, which will help. Also, I think it is basically our distribution which is going to help the market. We are penetrating deeper in the rural markets and going much deeper and putting more visi-coolers in the market, which will help the volumes this year.
Yes, and all these positive comments, Mr. Jaipuria, seem to be having a good effect on the stock as we speak. It's seen a good spike up. But let's talk about Sting, Tropicana. All of these are also very high value products. And while you've recently entered into the pact to sell Tropicana, how did these products contribute to your sales percentage wise? And how do you see them contributing going forward? I know you've spoken about a lot of potential as well. So if you could give some numbers.
Well, I think it's a bit too early because we only started distribution in March 1st. So in the first quarter, there was very small relevant to it. But obviously, Tropicana and Sting, they are high value products. And that's why you see, when you see a volume growth of 20% and value growth of 25%, it's clearly showing to our value growth when we have not increased our pricing. So going forward, it's definitely looking very positive for value growth. As well as with our taking over Tropicana, I think our distribution is going to get much more deeper and wider, which was not happening when Pepsi was marketing it. So we see a very good potential for these new products.
All right, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks very much for taking time out and joining in, Mr. Jaipuria, giving us a sense as to what is going to drive your growth, your new product launches, your organic growth plans as well. Just let's take a moment to assess the comments as well that have come in from Varun Beverages management, because it's been fairly positive. They're close to about 40% market share in the territories that they function in. They've launched a lot of new products in terms of the fizzy drinks in Delhi and UP, which they say so far seems to be seeing good response. They're seeing strong value growth as well going forward. They're confident about double-digit growth as well in FY19 and have said that the rural contributes about 30% to their volume growth and semi-urban about 70%, semi-urban as well as urban, and they're confident about driving their growth forward and you can see that's clearly playing out on the stock price, up about 0.6%, clutching onto the 700 mark.